Driving down to 49ers OTAs and the news that the 49ers have released Drake Jackson, which ends what was there's no other way to put it, a disastrous tenure to no fault of his, but an awful pick. This was pick number 61 in the 2022 NFL draft. And I got producer Connor here helping me out. How many, do you see there, Connor, like how many games did Drake Jackson play?
He played in 23 games.
23 games. And it felt like, 10. Unfortunately, he wasn't impactful when he was on the field. He was clearly a player that needed development. You combine development with a knee injury, he failed a physical. That's why he got released. And it's just a recipe for disaster. I mean, he was a guy who moved around multiple spots in college. And that was part of the deal, right? It was like USC didn't know how to use him, or at least couldn't figure out how to use him so the 49ers were going to get him and develop him. And they didn't develop him, and he didn't stay healthy. And, this wasn't a fifth round. This is a second round pick. It can't be overstated. Was that entire draft terrible in 2022? What happened in 22?
Yeah.
Read me the 22 picks.
All right. Well, it wasn't all entirely terrible. We'll get to that in the seventh round, but
Oh,
Drake
yeah.
Jackson,
Okay.
Drake Jackson, Ty Davis Price, no longer on the team, Danny Gray, Spencer Burford, Samuel Womack, that was a good pick, good corner, not on the team anymore. Nick Zakel, Khalil
Yeah.
Davis, Tariq Castro Fields, and then of course Brock Purdy. So
Yeah.
salvage that draft with pick 262. But Drake Jackson, 23 games. Guess how many sacks he had in his 23 games?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to say, first instinct was 1.5. I want to say 2.5.
Ooh, he had six, but
Oh,
half of his sacks came in that Steelers game where he had three. That was his breakout game
okay.
of 2023. Half of his total sack number came in that game.
Yeah. As you read me that draft, obviously Brock, changes the whole complexion. I will say, Spencer Burford, that guy's, uh, that guy, he was a legitimate depth. They got two depth offensive linemen in that draft. We'll see if Nick Zakel plays more this year. I'm not justifying the draft, but Spencer Burford was a better pick. Nick Zakel was a better pick. You said somebody else that contributed a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe I'm
Aaliyah
misremembering.
Davis.
Yeah, Khalil Davis. You just in the second round, you just you. ah, God, what a stretch!
You gotta have a player who can just be on the field, really. And you didn't
Yeah,
need much.
it's a good point. It's a reminder that as the rookies get on the field for the first time today, that the thing you want out of a rookie in year one, which is you're not looking for 11. Like Michael Williams, you're not looking for 11 sacks from Michael Williams this year. If you told me Michael Williams plays 16 games, let's just start with that. And
Right.
if he's anywhere close to the player you think he can be, then if he's just on the field, he's an impactful player. Um, but they miscalculated on Drake Jackson, and it cost. There's still part of the reason Michael Williams is here is because Drake Jackson. Not because Drake Jackson didn't become a 9 sack guy, but because he couldn't even stay on the field.
Do you have any
Crazy.
concern with their ability to draft D-line outside of Nick Bosa and Armstead and Buckner were inherited by this regime? Do you have any concern
Yeah.
because it looks like on paper, Michael, he's a stud, can set the edge, and can develop into a pass rusher, and then the interior guys, can be good. But is that any concern for you with the
Yeah.
ability to draft?
Definitely. And Michael, a lot hinges on Michael. And this whole draft. They really need at least they need Michael plus one of the other defensive linemen to hit. And if it's three of them hit, that'd be amazing. That'd be one of the great drafts of the era.
Of course.
But if it's Michael plus one interior lineman, even if it's like Michael and one of those guys two of them become reliable rotational guys, you probably that maybe is a little bit of an under delivery, just given how much you're going to ask him to do because you just don't have a lot. So yeah, this is a huge draft for how we view their ability to draft defensive lines.
Yep. And it's stark difference with the ability to draft defensive back because Sammy
Hmm.
Womack, that same draft, he's a player for the Colts now, but he was a solid player. They got Lenore and Ambry Thomas years before. Most recently, Ronaldo Green, Malik Mustafa. So they can draft DBs. For whatever reason, defensive line is elusive for them.
Wow, you put Ambry in the they can draft DBs side of the ledger.
The interception alone in 2021, I think, I think helps that against the Rams. But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
players, they're starters. They Jake Jackson barely
Yeah.
saw the field. So
Right. I mean, you'd love Ambry, like in an ideal world, Ambry is the fifth rounder and Damador Lenore is the third rounder. And but if it works out that way with the defensive tackles they drafted, one of them is Ambry Thomas and one of them is Damador Lenore, then that's good. But keep in mind, like that, it's a perfect example, Connor, is like those guys were not immediate impact players. It took a
right.
couple years for Damador Lenore to become Damador Lenore. So all right.